It's hard to find positives. We're always trying to find positives in these 3 games, James, but you can also give me the frustrations as well. What do you take away from these 3?
Well, you know, the frustrating thing is, I don't know, let me see, I think the Phoenix game was the last game they lost, correct? I think they were ahead most of the game.
13 in the middle of the third.
And then I think Phoenix went on like some crazy 25, 29.0 run. That can't happen. A 29-0 run cannot happen when you got a lead. So the inability to put teams away, and prior to these, loser games, they had been pretty good in clutch situations. Now that's gone away. So it just makes it, tough when they can't hold on to leads and they can't close games out.
Yeah, and James, the frustrating part for any Laker fan about that game, the Suns' best 2 players were out. No Dillon Brooks and no Devin Booker. And yes, Dillon Brooks is their second best player, Geet, which is a crazy turn of events for this season. And the Lakers have to be careful because just a couple weeks ago, this is their third 3-game losing streak. But a couple weeks ago, we said, look, they might catch some teams. Coming out of the break, it's like, all right, hanging out in 5th, a game or 2 behind, 4th place and even 3rd place. And now they have to worry about the teams behind them.
One little losing streak can do that, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're in 6th. Yeah. They're still got a 3-game or so lead over the Warriors. But you got to make sure you keep this team at bay. Right now, James, the season series tied at 1. They play tonight and then 1 more game in the last week of the regular season. If you win tonight, you kind of take a nice step towards at least, hopefully for the Lakers, getting that head-to-head huge tiebreaker in case they do happen to tie in the standings with the Warriors.
When there's traffic in the standings, one swing can put you either way. Because I remember going into the Orlando game thinking, hey, you get a win today. Then you saw the favorable schedule. They're only going to be a half game out of 3rd, but instead now you're thinking about that line because you're in 6th. Well, it can all change. All right, whenever the Lakers and Warriors get together, the story always goes to Steph against LeBron, and here's why. Both are 4-time NBA champions. LeBron a 4-time MVP. Steph has won it twice. 32 combined All-NBA teams, 34 combined All-Star selection. LeBron has 3 more NBA Finals MVP awards. Unfortunately, James, matchup is not going to take place. Steph Curry missing the last 9 games with a knee injury. He's out again tonight. But even though Steph is out, it's still fun to kind of celebrate these 2 and what they've done for the league. And quite frankly, their entire relationship playing together in 24, winning gold for USA. It's just been an awesome experience. And it's a bummer when one of them's not playing.
Yeah, it's a I don't want to say it's a complete comparison, but Bird Magic had it.
Yes.
They had it. And people look forward to it. They had battle after battle after battle, much respect, and they, eventually became good friends as well. I can't say that about me, but LeBron and these guys have entertained. They've battled, and they've led. They've led their teams too. So it's just history still exists between them.
James, you're saying Larry did not call you and wish you a happy birthday yesterday?
No, man.
Still waiting for that?
I'm good. I'm good. I don't want that call.
Maybe after he sees this show, he'll at least have a representative reach out and wish you happy birthday. But what you said, James, is absolutely correct. And what a great rivalry for these 2. I always go back, Geet, to, wow, almost 10 years ago now. I was at that Game 7 at Golden State where LeBron did have that famous chase down block. Huge comeback in the series, down 3-1. And finally, LeBron got that ever-elusive championship for the city of Cleveland. And Geet, I'm a little worried about Steph. He's one of the gentlemen of the game. Always loved talking to him. I've interviewed him many times over the past, a couple of one-on-ones, as a matter of fact. And he's great. I mean, he's one of the media's favorite people. And enough about the media. He is the game's best shooter of all time. So for him not to be here, it looks like a problem on paper. But I'll tell you what, James, DeAnthony Melton, the veteran who played at USC, he's had a really nice run in Steph's shoes over the last few weeks for the Warriors. They haven't made up a ton of ground in the standings, but they haven't lost a lot of ground either. Watch out for DeAnthony Melton today. He's playing really well.
Crespi High product. All right, LeBron James, by the way, guys, also some career milestones within his reach tonight. Check this out. He's 2 3-pointers away from joining Kobe Bryant as the only Lakers to reach 1,000 3-pointers with the team. He's also 6 rebounds from passing Vlade. All right, for 8th all-time in Laker history, and he's 12 assists away from passing Coop, our guy Michael Cooper, for 5th on the franchise list. So tonight could be a big night for LeBron in terms of milestones, because I feel like that happens every game, James.
And he knows everything. He knows every record that he's close to setting. And the idea that he's going to get close to Kobe or surpass it. Obviously, he's going to, that's going to be on his mind. He's not going to try to do it intentionally, but to be able to, be in the same club with Kobe and then surpass him is like a big honor, man. This guy's a record-breaking fool, as my uncle would say.
Is that Uncle Charlie?
It also
Uncle
means he spent a amount of years here in the Laker uniform.
Yeah.
And he scored a lot of points. That's what that means when you're looking at milestones with rebounds and assists and three-pointers.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been not quite a decade, but we're getting close to it. I mean, it's been a lot of time, and I think LeBron has to be the guy today. Okay, Austin Reaves has had a bad few games. Way below his scoring average for the season. Maybe LeBron's a guy who says, all right, Luka, I'm going to join you. And hopefully AR can shoot his way out of whatever slump he's been in the last few games. But LeBron, maybe he's that guy to get to, mid-20s, high 20s in point total today.
All right, guys, for more, let's check in with Mike Trudell joining us from Chase Center in San Francisco. What's up, Mike?
Hey guys, welcome to San Francisco. So a couple things for you coming out of J.J. Redick's press conference, gentlemen. First of all, we know that Rui Hachimura is going to miss a second straight game, just not quite over the illness that he has been dealing with. And speaking of illness, we know that Kristaps Porzingis, who has really battled things for a couple of years now from an injury standpoint, he is not going to play tonight as well. On top, we already knew that Steph Curry and, of course, Jimmy Butler will be out. But pretty much everybody else will be on the court. Now, a lot of similarities between the way that the Warriors are playing basketball right now and what the Lakers just saw with both Phoenix and Boston. So shooting a ton of threes, actually lead the NBA in threes attempted. That hasn't changed with Steph Curry out. It's a little counterintuitive, but they almost shoot more without Steph, just figuring that they need that variance on offense to make up for some of the sure thing scoring that they get from Steph Curry. And with that three-point shooting comes a lot of crashing from their, you don't want to call it the try-hard players, but they have a lot of players who really put the pedal down. Guy Santos would be an example of that. And, Brandon Pajemski comes in and crashes. So Lakers have to be kind of aware of both things, similar again to what Phoenix did, where the threes are going to be going up, but you can't turn your head. Got to go and grab the defensive rebound as well. So that's a major theme for what JJ focused on. And then you guys already touched on this earlier to start the show. Bad vibes when you're losing games. I don't care what else is going on. Nobody likes to lose games. So to have 3 consecutive losses, all in games that the Lakers were in, and certainly the last 2, they had really good chances to win. That's going to stick with a lot of players. It's going to stick with the coaches. And there are some themes that go into why that's been happening. The first thing, though, is Jake LaRavia is going to tell us later in the show, Geeter, they just have to compete. For 48 minutes, there are no excuses. Forget how they play on either end and execute. They have to find a way to get things done there. And J.J. Redick certainly supported that. But let's head back to you for the studio for now. And I'll check back in from San Francisco in a little bit, Geeter.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Great report. And looking forward to that conversation with Jake LaRavia. And Mike said exactly what, James and Rob and you, Brez, and everyone on this set has been saying, like, you got to put teams away and you got to compete for 48 minutes. No matter how you're playing, that's the key. Right. Lakers and Warriors tip off at 5:30. Jackson Hayes and the Lakers currently sitting at 6 in the West as they look to get back in the win column after losing 3 straight.
Panel of experts break down the day's matchup.
He's proven to be a threat offensively. I love that little mid-range game. Very impressed.
And after the final buzzer, head back to the studio for post-game reaction, highlights, and interviews.
When you got the size advantage and the skill advantage, you take over, and that's what he did tonight.
Access Sportsnet Lakers, pre- and post-game coverage on Spectrum Sportsnet.
Yeah, just missed.
What's the frustration level? Just the way that you had controlled this game, a couple of different occasions, they come back, all the threes that they had, all the frustrating plays, and a third straight loss.
Very high.
What's the way to deal with that and try to move on?
Watch film, be better, control the, very controllable things that we're doing out there. So, you got to move on and be better next time.
So Austin Reaves had a great look at it to tie that game with 0.9 seconds left. Just missed the shot, as he said. Obviously not happy about it. He's a competitive guy. James, when you get those opportunities in those moments, and we've seen him hit a lot of shots to win games, do you just move on from it, or does it sit with you for a little bit? Or is it like, hey, we got another game? That's the beautiful thing about basketball. You got 4 more games in the week.
Yeah, missing the shot doesn't, necessarily stick with you.
Being in the situation, maybe.
Being in a situation getting there, giving up the lead, how you got there, and I think that's what he was referring to.
Such a great point.
We got to look at the film. You know, how did we give up 29 points if we didn't get anything? You know, what were our defensive mistakes? Yeah, he's not going to hit all the shots. That was a great play. They closed the elevator right there.
Tough
he got
shot.
open, and just unfortunate. He had a quick shot, but that's what he's thinking right there. How the hell did we get in this situation where I got to, hit a lucky shot at the end of the game?
James, as someone who's interviewed Austin, I don't know, a couple hundred times after games over the years, this is the most upset I've ever seen him. And I feel like he's wearing the Lakers' losing streak right here on his sleeve when he was saying that. And Geet, look, it was a beautiful play.
Yeah.
I mean, great job designing that. Great pass by Marcus Smart all the way to the other side of the court, through some traffic too. And I think that's part of Austin's frustration. It was there. Less than a second left when it was inbounded, and he had a good look at it. And it didn't happen. And that's what I like about Austin. That probably kept him up the last couple nights. Because that type of thing, the Lakers need a break. You had the tough finish 2 games ago, and then you had that finish last game out, and Austin has not been playing well. And I feel like he really wanted that and needed that, and so did the team. It did not happen.
Let's talk about Austin. Okay, since returning, he's averaging just under 20. He was averaging 26 before he got hurt on Christmas Day, and he was on his way to the All-Star game. But now LeBron is back. Right, so the volume's not going to be as much. And to me, James, it seems like he's not getting to the line like he used to, not getting the calls. He's had a couple of big games, but what have you seen from Austin as he's kind of getting back?
When Austin was out, it required LeBron to pick up the pieces a little bit more and handle the ball. Before that, Austin was, playing well with Luka, handling the ball well, getting to the line, like you said, 15 to 20 times a game, and it was very effective. Now I think they're struggling with the 3-headed monster. Since he's come back, LeBron and Luka are still playing the same. They're both ball dominant. They're all three are, ball dominant. But you got to understand, there are sometimes at the end of the game where I trust, the ball in Austin Reaves' hands just as much as I do anybody. I love Luka, and I think he's the #1 priority, but I think sometimes when they need to be unpredictable, Austin Reaves has proven that he is shot maker. He's a designer, if you will, on the court when he's in that mode. And so they can never forget that. They got to allow him to handle the ball. I don't want to say it has to be 50-50, but it has to be enough that he's getting back to being effective as he was before his injury.
Yeah, last week, James, against the Clippers, he had 29. It's like, okay, he's back. He's looking great. Whatever injury issues he'd had and conditioning stuff, he was back in my mind. And then he's had these last 3 games since that 29-point outburst, and he's only averaging about 15.5. And to Geeter's point, Geet, you're absolutely right. Over these 3 games, he's gone to the line. He's had about 4 free throw attempts per game on average. That's not enough. I'm not talking makes. I'm talking free throws. He's a guy who needs to get to the line, maybe be a little more aggressive. And yeah, everyone's healthy pretty much except Rui. So the shot distribution is going to be a little bit worse for AR. But this is still a guy who, James, you and I have talked about this a couple times. He would have been in the All-Star game had he not gotten hurt. He was averaging 25 points a game. Then he got hurt, misses over a month. Sorry, no All-Star berth for him.
And people don't understand the significance of getting to the line. You get there for points, but what it does, it slows the other team down. It slows their pace down. Let's say if you're going against a running team or a team just, it slows it down and allows you to look at the game, at a slower pace and look at the things you have to take care of. Without that, it's pace, it's turnover, it's offensive rebounds. And so you need to look at that factor too. He does a lot more than score. He really controls how the game pace is and how it stops and how it starts. And you got to count that in there.
I mean, by the way, those 6 more free throws that he makes, which he usually does, that's from 20 to 26 right there. So,
like all right,
Lakers brought in. I want to show you guys this. Lakers brought in 3-point specialist Luke Kennard at the trade deadline. I want to show you these numbers. First 6 games in LA, he was averaging almost 10 points per, 65% shooting, getting up almost 3 3-pointers a game. The last 2 games, He's scoring 8.5 points, but only has shot 1 3-pointer in the last 2 games. You know, JJ has said this to us before, that he wants him to shoot a little bit more. Listen, one thing we know watching him, he's not going to force it. He's not going to come off the dribble a lot. He's going to make the right play, but you still want him to get a little more volume.
And he's never been a volume shooter. You know, that's why his percentage has remained so high. And I think it maybe still